Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Bull Nation Live podcast. I'm your host, Edgar De Jesus, and yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas, and we are in studio, so we are here with the Cannonball King himself, Mr. Spider.
Hey, yo.
Today, we're talking to Megan Kendrick, the owner of the Pool Pro magazine. We're talking about our story. We're talking about trends. We're talking about the 30 under 40. And lots more. We got a lot of questions for her. Want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting and splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our visionary partners for this podcast, the Ultimate Pool Tools, the SPPA, Blu-ray XL, Aquastar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypack, Heritage, and Hayward Pool Products. We want to thank them for their continued support. Mr. Zacharias, good to see you in town, buddy. How you doing?
Well, my heart rate's going about 200 miles an hour after that. I feel like I need to go take a walk around the floor out.
Did you catch it, John?
Did you tell him to do the intro?
Yeah, I just kind of went, go. And he's like, not going to happen.
Maybe in a couple of years. No, everything's going good. It's been a whirlwind the last couple of weeks. I'm sure everyone out there is feeling the same thing. We had a slow start in Houston weather-wise, and then the last couple of weeks, the temps have just shot up. The water temps have gone up, and we've had a ton of rain. I know you guys have been getting it here, but we have just been hammered with rain. So it's been all hands on deck. I worked all 3 days last week, and in the field, might I add. I got a little bit of a tan line going on here. So other than that, everything's going pretty good.
Mr. Flawless, great to have you in town, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Jeannie and I were just talking on the way here that it's been a couple months since we've been into Texas, so glad to be back. I am, as usual, tired as hell. I don't know what the hell's going on with me, but I'm tired. But I had an amazing time yesterday. It was actually really fun. Not really my thing, doing photo shoots, but it was interesting, and I think everybody just had a great time setting up. And I'm not a very creative person. I don't think I am. I'm a great problem solver, I think, but as far as creativity, what was put up yesterday and what you guys did and how you did it and watching it come to life, at first it's like, really? I don't see how this is going to look cool. But once you saw the final product and you saw your vision come to life, it was inspiring. I don't know. It helps you think outside the box a little bit, right? So that was fun to be a part of. Lying on the floor was interesting. I was happy to do so. But at the end of the day, we had a great time, and the time just flew by, right? We got there at 12, and it was like 5 o'clock when we left, or 4:30-ish or whatever when we left, and that time just literally flew by, and it was a really good time. So thanks for having us and for doing that. We look forward to seeing the final product.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. And those of you listening, trust me, I'm sure it was going to be a pretty interesting cover or article or whatever,
It'll spark interest.
It will,
spark a lot
and
of
it will
conversation.
definitely be the talk of the town for a while, I'm sure. And I won't ever hear the end of it if any of those photos of us get leaked or get put in there. It's going to be interesting, but I had a great time. So I just want to thank you, Megan. That was awesome.
Good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the couple of times we've done this with you guys, we've definitely taken you out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
But it's really fun because we don't get the opportunity to do those kinds of shoots very often. And so it's really fun to stretch our creativity and see what we can come up with. And so I was pretty nervous about this one. Like, I had a vision for how I wanted it to look, and I did not know if we could accomplish it. But seeing the drafts, I'm feeling pretty excited about it. It was really fun.
It definitely was fun.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Megan? We're excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. I know. I feel like people are probably tired of seeing me on here. But thanks for having me. It's always fun to come down here.
We're excited to have you. And yeah, yesterday was really awesome. And it was funny to see You could tell that out of the three of us, John was the most uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm trying.
It's just not my thing.
I'm seeing a trend, Zach. I'd just be like, I don't care. Let's do it. And Zach is always like a little bit hesitant, but Zach is always second to go. Like he's building up his courage to just like, forget it, let's do it. And he did it. But then watching John in the back of the room, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not, yeah. And then he got in and he was a little uncomfortable. And then once he got into it, he really got into it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I got into it. But
You totally got into it.
I don't know if I got into
Janie,
it.
did he get into it or what?
He did a lot better than I thought he was going to do.
Look, at the end of the day, I know what I need to do, right? So I'm going to do what I need to do because I know I'm doing it for the right reason and what we're trying to accomplish here. But again,
He's a good sport.
For sure. You guys are all good sports. And it helps
Yeah.
too, like once you kind of see a couple of them and see like how they look on the screen,
Yeah.
you're like,
oh, you nailed it.
because it's really hard
Yeah.
to tell if you're not getting that above angle
Yeah.
with the drone. It's
Yeah.
really hard to see like the vision. And so, yeah, you got to look and then it's like, oh, I get it. This is fine.
So cool.
Yeah.
I do have to give you props, Megan, because every time you have just come up with something new. And when you came and said, hey, Edgar, this is what I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, that's really cool. That's like completely out of the box of anything that you see. So the creativity and the vision of it is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like that. I'm not a very visual person. Like I can come up with a concept and tell you this is what I'm thinking, but somebody has to come in and
Yeah.
like paint it and make it all pretty. I don't have that ability. And
Well, and I can come up with a great idea, but I need my team to actually execute it. I was like, I want to do this. And I showed it to our art director, and I think she was like, oh no. But she got to come out too, which was really great. And we couldn't have done it without having her there to actually put things where they needed to go and do all of that part of it and coordinate with the photographer and all of those things. So without her help, it would not have happened. And she's such a good sport because I do this to her fairly regularly. We'll be a week before we go to press and I'll look at the cover and I'm like, I don't know about this.
You're my worst nightmare.
No, I am. But she's great at working in that kind of high pressure environment. That's why she's great at her job. So she handles it like a pro.
And let's give her a shout out because she's just been
Yes.
absolutely amazing. So, Brittany, absolutely. Thank you for coming out. It was fun to be able to come out and be part of it and get to play with her, right? But
Yeah.
I thought she was going to stay for today. I
I
was
know,
excited. And then
I
she's like,
know.
oh, I'm headed back. And I'm like, you know me, I like the party afterwards. That's what what drives me out of all this stuff is the after party stuff
Yeah.
that we do.
Yeah. An issue to put together. So she didn't have time to like hang out. She's got to go work, guys.
Hey, big shout out to Michael, first response here. By the way, he's saying John is a natural model. We know that you're the
Yes.
model of the three.
I got to give some love out to Megan for not allowing some of the original photos to get leaked.
We did.
'Cause that would have been disastrous.
Uh-huh.
So we have a bond, right? There's some
Yeah.
trust between us,
Yep.
right?
Yep. I will
Yeah.
not make you look like a fool.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
As long as you're nice.
yeah, exactly. So that's
As long
why
as you're nice.
she's smart.
Yeah.
She gets it, right?
got the
That's why
ammo.
she has me on lockdown. She knows because she holds the keys, right?
Now, was that yesterday? Because I haven't seen those.
No, remember the original one?
Like with it,
The
like when we
jumping.
did.
Remember the original cover and some of those?
No.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because at the time, you guys kept talking about a skincare line. And so it was like, well, it'd be kind of
Yeah.
fun to do like a beauty shoot. And those pictures are actually pretty fantastic. But John was not a fan. And so I'm not going to make him
Just
do
like
that.
she's got to have love for you because she hasn't even shared those with
Yeah.
me.
So those
Because she
were-
knows you'll post them.
Yeah.
Of course, you know I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, John gets to say what happens with those. He did them. I feel like that was,
Megan, she's smart. She got Pool Nation wrapped
Yeah,
around her finger now because of those pictures.
She's got it. She's got it.
if you wonder why we keep working with each other, that's
Right,
why.
exactly.
It's all blackmail.
Got it all figured out. All right, let's get to a couple things here so we can get started. Women's Summit, August 29th and 30th out at Heritage Pool Supply. Registration is going to open next Friday. We're actually going to do a podcast, talk about the Women's Summit, some of the education that we're going to have coming there. Really excited about that. Megan's going to be there.
Yes, I finally get to come. Every time you've had one, I have not been available. So I'm excited to get to come this time.
Yeah. So just to let you know, I actually called Aaron and said, Aaron, can you just make sure that those dates stay clear
I
on
know.
her? And he's
Yeah.
like, I got you. So I appreciate that, Aaron. The next thing that we have coming out is the Pool Nation Conference, which will be November 9th, 10th, and 11th at the PSP Expo in Dallas. That's going to be our big convention. We're going to be hitting 4 different areas of education. We're going to be doing 13 different technical education classes. We're going to be doing 8 hands-on classes. We're going to be doing about 11 business classes on there as well. And we have the retail side of it that we're going to be doing in partnership with BioLab, with Jamie, Ted, Alicia. So looking forward to that. Stay tuned. We really want to change a little bit of how the education curriculum is done. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail as we get closer. Next Friday, I want to give a huge shout out to Jason Horn because his Texas Pool Supply out in Rockwall was finally open. So Jeanette, I know that you're on here. Big shout out to you as well. Let's see here. Jeanette, are we going to get the tea on what you've been working on with Heritage today? That's a negative, ghostwriter. Negative. That's coming up soon.
It's been a hot topic, dude. Dude, my phone has been blowing up.
Me too.
Dude. I'm like, what? People calling me. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up?
We've gotten all kinds of rumors on this one. Should we share some of those rumors or no? No? Okay. So let's move on. All right. So anyways, so Todd, big shout out to you out there as well. Thanks for being on here. So stay tuned, everybody. We've got a couple great things coming up, and we will talk about those soon. So Megan.
Yes.
So there's two things that I'm going to start this podcast with. One is I am going to start with a big thank you. We've been talking a lot about it. We've been looking back our 3.5, 4 years of journey, and we just got into this deep conversation the other day of our trajectory and how we've gotten to where we are. And we've looked at some of our successes. We've looked at some of our failures, right? Because a lot of people don't talk about those. But man, we've tried a lot of things that have just not worked.
Yep.
And people don't talk about those. But one common thing that we all sat and were reminiscent on was really how we've been able to build Pool Nation. But the majority of the success of Pool Nation has not been what we've been able to achieve, but it has been the partnerships and the networking with people that have allowed us to succeed. And so you were really one of the first instrumental people to really help elevate us. And so you've been just an amazing partner with us. We now do together the 30 under 40, and we look forward to those every year. We'll talk about those today. But we just wanted to say thank you for your partnership. Thank you for helping us. We were really at our early stages, and you put us on the cover of your magazine. And I think just because that cover was a little bit different as well, right? That sparked a lot of conversation, and you have it there.
I did. I brought it with me.
So that was very cool. It was a very cool experience to be on there. We wanted to take a moment to say thank you because you've been a pivotal part in our success. And without that friendship and that networking, we probably wouldn't be where we are today. So thank you.
Well, that's really kind of you to say, but it's definitely mutual. You talk about relationships and partnerships, and it's the same for us. The people that we've partnered with is why that we're still here. So yeah, and the partnership with you guys, it's been the same. It's helped us grow and it's given us more exposure, and it goes both ways. And it's always been fun to work with you guys. But I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And then the other thing that we realized is we've had you on a couple of times, but we've never actually talked about Megan. We're always talking about something else, never about Megan.
Yeah.
And so we had an idea of what we were going to do the podcast. And then Zach and I flipped it this morning. We were having coffee and just went, hey, let's change this up a little bit. So we want to talk to you, but really what we want to do is we really want to get your story. I think especially with what you do, people see a finished product, but people don't get to see the process to get there. So we want to talk about you. We're going to toss a lot of last minute questions at you that we came up with.
That's fine. Yeah, please give me an opportunity to talk about myself.
All right.
I'm here for it.
Perfect. So I'm going to just start right off the bat and just, really tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So let's see. I grew up in North Dakota in a really small town, Williston, North Dakota, 13,000 people. I graduated of a class of 22.
Wow.
So
22?
22. I mean, so
cool.
I did go to a private school in Williston. So it was like a very small school in a small town, right? I went to college down in Phoenix, went to Grand Canyon University before it was the behemoth it is today. I went to grad school in Chicago at Northwestern, ended up back in Phoenix because that's where Aaron was. And I got this job at this little publishing company. I graduated from grad school in 2007. December 2007. So I was looking for a job in journalism in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah. Like just
Not
perfect
really,
timing.
really great
Wow.
timing. It's just a really good time to come out of spending $50,000 on a master's degree to go to try to find a job. And yeah, I was looking all over the country. I moved back in with my parents in North Dakota, and I was looking for jobs all over the country. And finally, Aaron needed to sign a new lease. He needed a place to live. And I was so mad. I think it was one of our worst fights we ever had because I was like, no. We're moving wherever I get my job. That was our plan. But I didn't have a job. And he's like, I got to live somewhere. So he signed a 12-month lease. And it's like, I was like, guess I'm going back to Arizona. But yeah, that's how I started at the magazines at this little company in Scottsdale, Big Fish Publications. They had just launched Spa Retailer. And so I think they had put out one issue before I started there. We didn't start Pool Pro until 2012. So I've been there for almost every single issue of both of the magazines. Yeah. And then in 2011, we left Phoenix and moved to Oklahoma for Aaron's job. And yeah, now we're there.
In beautiful Norman, Oklahoma.
Norman, Oklahoma.
I love going up there, by the way. Norman, Oklahoma is nice.
Yes. When we first moved to Oklahoma, I think when I told people where I lived, I had this little bit of like, I live in Oklahoma. Because there's a lot of like preconceived notions that come with living in a flyover state like Oklahoma, but we love it there. I don't see us leaving. We really enjoy living there. We live in a college town. It's really fun. There's always stuff going on. Oklahoma City has just really gone through this growth and evolution, and it's a cool place to be. And it can't beat the cost of living.
Yeah, the cost of living. It's wide open still, right? There's a lot of space.
That's right. Yeah, we have a whole acre to ourselves.
Nice.
I know.
All right. John, maybe we need to change our plans and go up to Oklahoma.
I'd be down.
We can have 2 acres. Zach, you moving with us?
Tornadoes.
What?
Hey, man, we have tornadoes go through here.
Yeah.
I live in Houston.
You get hurricanes.
Yours are worse.
Yeah.
You're like
gnarly.
guaranteed flooding. Like the chance of a tornado actually hitting your house is pretty low. I feel like in Houston, the chances of being flooded is like pretty high.
Yep. I agree. Megan, tell us a little bit about what it takes to get a magazine ready because...
Oh, man. So our production cycle, we usually start working on an issue anywhere from 12 to 14 weeks before it actually comes out. And honestly, like it even starts before then because at the beginning of the year, you put together your media kit. Actually, way before the beginning of the year, you put together your media kit and you pick like some of those big topics and what they're going to be in each issue. So you have already started, like I will actually in the next month start planning all of the stuff that we're going to talk about for next year, right? All of our big topics. And then as the year rolls around, when it comes time to start working on a new issue, I sit down with my managing editor, Bethany, and we hammer out what we want every single story to be, and then start assigning them out and writing them. That's the hardest part of the whole thing is that, you know, you have an idea of what you want this story to be or what you want to talk about in this topic, but then you have to actually like go out and find people to talk to you about it. And that is by far the most painful part of the entire thing. Because you can't always get people to get back to you. And you also like sometimes just don't know who to talk to for that particular topic. And so that is the hardest part, which is why the best stories in the magazine are always the ones that people have talked to us about, have said, hey, you should write a story about this. Because then we know we've at least got one person we can talk to about that. So yeah, that is painful. And for Pool Pro, I hate this time of year because you guys disappear. Absolutely gone. We do 6 issues a year. We try to pretty much write 4 of them between January and April because nobody will talk to us now. So we try to call people as little as possible in May, June, and July. In August, people kind of start coming up for air. But it's like we are in a situation right now where we thought we had someone secured for our cover and then it fell through. And now it's the worst time of year to be trying to get someone to do something last minute. And someone will do it. We'll get it worked out. For some reason this year, man, I've had to call in way more favors than I normally do. So it's been a little extra painful.
John knows you a few favors. You got that card
Right.
there. So
Special episode with all
Dude,
those pictures that you have hidden.
Imagine that picture on the cover of the magazine. Oh, my God. I would,
All the pictures like that, just a cover with like,
Yeah.
I'd retire.
No.
The next day.
Yeah.
If you ever want me out of the industry,
I mean,
done.
it would be a very different cover for us to have that,
Yeah,
just
that
that beauty
would be.
shot. Last night, Brittany did ask me, she was like, do we have pictures of anyone that we haven't used yet? And that one didn't come to mind, but
It is a good photo, though.
I agree. It is
It
a
is a
nice,
great
it is
photo.
a good picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That kind of runs into my next
Yowza.
question, right? What are some of the challenges of running a magazine? And I can only imagine that. What do you do, right? Because you have deadlines that can't be moved and missed, and it just doesn't work. So you have to almost have a plan B, C, D, E, F, just in case crap like this happens.
Yeah. I think most businesses have quote unquote deadlines, right? But we have deadlines.
Yeah, like
like our lives revolve around those print dates. We have a print date almost every single month. our entire lives revolve around that, personal and professional. Because it's like, you know, that week you try to plan nothing because you just never know what's going to happen or what's going to go wrong. And with every single issue, something happens. It's just the way it goes. Something will go wrong. Recently, we've had a couple stories where it's a couple weeks before we go to press and they land on my desk and I'm like, we can't print that. And then we've got this giant hole in our magazine that we've got to fill with something. Because that's the thing too, like you just can't just cut or add pages willy-nilly. We use a big web printer and they print in signatures. So you can cut and add in 12s. Otherwise, you pay a premium. Sometimes if we have a smaller issue by 4 pages, I pay an extra $1,000 for that. Like, it's not worth it.
For
you know
less
what I mean?
pages?
Yes. If you don't print it a full signature. The publishing industry, it's like anything. Unless you're in it, you don't know all of those nuances. And so it's, we can't just drop it by a page or 2 pages without it being incredibly expensive. But honestly, like, I think I'm good at that part of it.
I was going to say, you have to love it a little bit, right?
You do.
know?
I do. Like, you don't want things to go wrong, but there is something about the figuring out how to make it work that I really enjoy doing. And I think Brittany doesn't panic because she's done this with me a lot. But for some of our newer team members, I think there's a little bit of this, oh no, but it's going to be fine.
I'm the same way with some things. Sometimes it's like organized chaos, right? And the people around you look at this and say, holy shit, how are we going to figure this way out?
Yep.
And it's not something you want to purposely put yourself in, but when you know that's where you excel and you strive at, and then you see it all come together and at the end go, we got it.
Yep.
We figured it out and we made it happen. It's like almost like dopamine, right? It kind of like motivates you and keeps you going, because when it gets too automatic or too basic, it gets boring. And I guess it's the type of personalities that we might have, right? And it gets us going. I get it completely.
I couldn't do it.
You would lose your mind,
I
right?
couldn't do it.
I don't know. I kind of like the challenge. It's very stressful, but when we have the chaos,
But
that's
the end
where
result, when you get there
Yeah.
and you finish, it's like,
and you
all right.
usually figure out
Yeah.
a better way to do something because of the chaos.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
I've learned that people and deadlines are almost like something that don't work because you're always scrambling. So I don't know, with what we do, it drives me crazy. And I like to have things done 3 months in advance, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Then it's just clean up at the end.
But it's not with you, right? Because it's done and then it's on to the next thing. It's not like there's ever 3 months of like relaxation
3
when you're
weeks.
done, right? It's like never ending, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a vicious cycle.
So I figured out what my toxic trait is, and that's that I'm in the middle of finishing one event and my brain has already moved on to
For
the next
sure.
one.
Yes.
And I said something at the last event, and I think Zach was like, can you just shut up for a little bit? I'm like, really? You're going to start talking about that? Can
You
just
do.
please
A
stop?
completely new thing and we just decided that we're going to do. And then the next day we're already late,
Yeah.
you know? And it's just like, really?
But the thing is, because people are bad with deadlines, and I don't
Yeah.
know how you do it because you have to go to print and you don't
Yeah.
have an option, right? Like for the stuff that we do, if we end up not having somebody speak, then, it's like you move on, you do something. But with yours, it's deadlines.
Yeah.
That I can't do because it would drive me absolutely crazy. And then it's hard when you're asking somebody to write an article or do something. It's not, most of the time, they're not getting paid. They're just so.
Or even if it's correct,
we
right?
That's the other thing. They'll
Yeah.
give it to you at the last
Like,
minute and
because
you look
unless
at
you
it.
really know, and then you get this information, you got to vet it and you got to see
Yeah.
if it's right, and
Yeah.
then you got to cater
Yeah.
to everybody else's opinions, because this industry is terrible with it.
Oh,
Trust me, it's just like, oh my God, here you go. You can hear this, and you're going to get 15 people out of the woodworks telling me that, no, Grandpa told me this is how I
Yes.
used to
Taste
do
the
it. and
water,
that's
don't
wrong,
measure
and
it, yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and this theory or that theory, because there's no real standard, right? And I couldn't even imagine.
every issue that we send out, I am terrified. And every issue, there is always one thing that I feel a little uncomfortable with. And I'm like, if I get a call, it will be on this. And usually I'm right. I will say something that I think is really interesting is that we don't get a ton of flack online about our stuff. And I honestly, I said this someone the other day, and I think it's because we're women. I think people are a little less willing to attack us in the way that they would probably attack you online,
Yeah.
which I'll take it.
Right? Good.
If that is
Yeah.
the benefit of being a woman in this industry, I will take it, because I can't deal with the online arguments about how to do things and everything. And also, we don't work on pools every day. We can only go with what we are told. And like you said, we vet things as well as we have. And I've been in the industry since 2008, so I do know some things. But I'm still not the person fixing pools and working on pools and seeing them every day. So there's a ton of stuff I don't know. Yeah, we're really dependent on people giving us good information.
But at the end of the day, you're not there. It's not like an educational thing where you're teaching somebody to do something. You're just bringing to life somebody who is in the industry and their opinion and their voice and how they think. And that doesn't change. And it's not like read the Pool Pro magazine and you're going to become a professional equipment installer.
This is not a manual.
Exactly. It's not a manual, right?
Which we don't read anyways.
Yeah, you're giving voice to the people in the industry.
Right. Yeah.
I hope people understand that.
I do want to read a comment that I think is pretty awesome. And I agree with 100%. And that comes from Todd Pieri saying, Pool Pro has shined a light back on the fundamentals and foundation of our industry. The service professionals, so important and so refreshing. And I'm going to agree with you 100%. You're pretty much the only one that really focuses just solely on the Pool Pro, right?
Yeah.
And I could see that as a little bit of a challenge, right? As you're coming in, because you've got all these other magazines that kind of cover everything. So why has really the focus for you guys been that Pool Pro?
You know, it's interesting. That was a decision. That was a change that I made when I bought the magazines. So I worked for the magazines for 10 years and then I bought them in 2018. That was a change that I made pretty much right away with Pool Pro because with the old ownership, we work for everybody. We talked about the entire pool industry. And as the writer and editor, I just really struggled with understanding who my audience was. And I think one thing that they taught us in grad school, like hammered into you, is know your audience. That is the most important thing about what you do, is that you need to understand who you're talking to. And I just could never figure out who that person is. Like, it was just such a struggle because a pool builder is just a completely different business than a pool service company. And there's obviously overlap. We all know that. There are just so many different facets of this industry. And I could not figure out who we were or who we were talking to. And so pretty much right away, I was like, we are not a magazine about pool building. And also, there are great magazines that cover that part of our industry. And I'm happy to let them do that. I was like, we are going to be about the pool service, repair, plaster. That is going to be our remodel. That's going to be our bread and butter. Those are going to be our people because I know how to talk to that person. I know who that person is. At least now I have a better idea of what they care about and what their struggles are. And so, yeah, that was something that we did right away. And one of the other reasons I did that, it's funny. So my dad has always worked in the oil business. And he always told me, he's in the oil field, you want to work on production. Because if you work on drilling, it's boom or bust. Like, you either have a job or you don't. And there's not a whole lot of in between. He's like, but once you got a well in the ground, you are going to take care of it. And I always think the pool industry is the same way, right? Building is a little boom or bust. It can be really high. It can be really low. It can be steady. But once that pool is in the ground, that person is going to take care of their pool. And they're going to need someone to help them do that. That was my other reason for doing service. Is I see the service industry as one of our new taglines is the heartbeat of the industry. And I really feel that way because I feel like once that pool is in the ground, like, it's going to be taken care of. And these are the people who are going to do it. And so while building may be up and down and some of these other areas might be up and down, service is steady. And they're the ones that like are going to take care of those pools for years and years and years to come.
That's why we like you so much.
That's a great point, man.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And I think it's interesting, too, you're seeing this year after the pandemic, you're starting to see some of the manufacturers come to that realization a little bit.
A little bit? You are being politically correct, and I will take the heat for this one. But guess what? Reality has kicked in.
Yeah. Who's going to be buying most of your stuff? It's going to be the service guys. It's going to be replacements. It's not going to be new. Do we as an industry want more pools in the ground? Absolutely. That is best for all of us. But when things are slow like this, these are your guys. These are the people who are going to be putting the equipment in the ground or attached to the pool.
Right.
However it may be.
Preach, Meg.
Amen.
We've been screaming that from the rooftop since the very beginning. That's the whole reason why we, what we're doing. And we also believe, and we say not one is more important, but we want to be equally as important as everybody else out there because we're an ecosystem here, right? And I think the service industry has been underserved for generations.
Yeah.
And I do believe that we are making way and we are changing that little by little. And thank you.
Yeah.
You play a part in that for sure.
Huge part.
Important.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, when you're putting this together through the years, you've encountered a lot of different people and you're constantly in tune with the changes and the feelings and the emotion and things that are going on. What are some of the trends that you're seeing now post-pandemic?
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's one, is that you're starting to see this shift where the industry is focusing a little more on service as a whole, like just giving it more attention. So that's definitely a trend that I see. I'm not going to say anything revolutionary here, but technology changes are amazing right now. I'm really excited about some of the things that you're starting to see on that side. Efficiency has been really a growing thing that I'm excited about. And it's exciting to see the industry start to take that on and see it as a good challenge instead of a bad challenge. I think that's a little bit of a switch where when I started in the industry, I can't remember what the standard was, but they had just come out with some new energy standards and everyone was very upset about it. They did not appreciate being told what to do, which I understand. But now I've started to see companies take that on themselves instead of being like, okay, this is what we were told we have to do to be more efficient. Now you're starting to see manufacturers and people in the industry be like, no, we're going to be more efficient and we're going to figure this out on our own instead of before we're told that we have to, because that will also happen. I think those are 3 things I'm seeing right now. But yeah, like smaller pools, plunge pools, swim spas, all of that stuff.
What about, I'm curious, because we're talking about pool service professionals on that side of the industry. What about the mindset of business owners and the way they run their businesses and stuff? Because I think I've seen a little bit of a shift just in the short time that I've been in the industry. What are you seeing in that?
It's interesting because I feel like I have seen a change in that. But sometimes I'll talk to it feels a little bit more collegial, right? It feels like we're willing to talk to each other, we're willing to work with each other, we're willing to learn. We want the whole industry to be more professional. But sometimes I talk to some of these older guys and they feel the opposite, which is so fascinating to me. I was having a conversation with someone the other day and it's like every generation says the same thing about the generation before them and after them. You know what I mean? It's always like the young guys always have it better than we had it. And the old guys are always like stuck in their ways. Like we always say the same thing, no matter what generation you're looking at. So I do think there's a little bit of that. But I do feel like with the technology that we have now, you're just able to broaden your reach in the industry and you're able to have connections with people all over the country on a more consistent basis. Because before you had to go to a trade show to be able to have that. And now you don't. And you're starting to see that, I think, get to a good place and a helpful place, which has been really fun to watch. Because, yeah, that's definitely not how I felt in 2008. But I was also very green. So,
Well, in 2008 were some tough times.
yeah, not the
Right.
greatest time to enter
Yeah.
our industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
People
we
talk
had
about
to-
the heyday, and I'm like, what heyday?
Yeah, that was a bad recession back then. So, anyways, I do have a question and I'm going to switch it around a little bit. So, how do you manage running a successful business and then being a wife and being a mother of 2? How do you split that time up?
I think balance is a myth. I don't think that's a real thing. I was thinking about this quite a bit over the last couple of days because I feel like a lot of women, and I think business owners and entrepreneurs in general, not just women, we have ridiculously high standards for ourselves and they're not achievable. And I think in some ways that like perfection, like you're going for perfection on all fronts. It's just not possible. And I definitely fall into that trap. And so it's really easy for me instead of thinking about like, oh, hey, I balanced this stuff today, or hey, look, I failed at this today. So I may have been really great at my business, but I failed my kids today. Or I may have done this great thing for my kids, but that meant I failed my business today. And so I've really had to work to change that mindset and let some of that go. You know what? Like my kids maybe had peanut butter and jelly for dinner. And guess what? That's okay that I didn't cook them a well-balanced, meal with all of the things that they're supposed to have. And there are some days where it's like my kids get home at 4:30 and a lot of times that means my workday's over. And I feel really guilty about that. I feel like I should be putting in those hours. But sometimes when they get home, my day's done because it's just not possible to get anything accomplished once they walk through the door. And I need to stop seeing that as a failure, right? That's a good thing to be able to take that time away and spend with them. So this whole idea of finding the perfect balance, it's really about letting things go and being okay with things not being perfect and understanding that's real life and that's not a failure. That's just making it through your day. And it's not even surviving. Like, this is fine. You're getting everything done that you need to get done. The people in your life and hopefully employees feel loved and cared for. That's the goal. And so guess what? Sometimes my house is going to be a mess and that's going to drive me crazy, but I got to let it go because there are things that are more important. And that's where I land on that today.
And that's a great point. That's a good
It's
point.
reality.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Now, I do want to take a break, but Can you share your story about what your daughter did to
Oh
you
my
the other day? Because I thought that was a great story. Did you hear that,
Oh.
John?
No.
Watch what her daughter did, which is awesome.
Yeah. So we have 2 girls. Abby is almost 9 and Mia is like 4.5. And so for the summer, we decided to take Mia out of daycare. She starts preschool in the fall. So she's out of daycare for the summer. And so this week it was her first real day home for summer. And clearly her expectations of what summer was going to be like were not the reality, because I think she thought we were going to play all day long. Me and her, we were going to play. And obviously, mommy needs to work. I did not give her a realistic expectation for what that was going to look like. But she kept coming in and sitting on my lap and being like, can we play? Are you done? And it's always got to finish working. I got up to do something and she locked me out of my office.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, she locked the door, my computer and phone in there. She just locked us out. And she's like, Mom, now we can have fun. Because she saw it as a good thing. It's like, you can't work, so now we can have fun. It's just like, that's not how this works,
That's
kiddo.
pretty awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, fortunately, Aaron walked in the door right when that happened, so he got it unlocked. I mean, this is not the first time that she has locked us in or out of something. She locked our entire family in a room one time, and we had to like go through the window to get out. So this is a thing she does where
That's
she's
awesome.
decided that like,
Pleasures.
I'm just going to make you stay where I need you to stay so that we can play.
Problem solver.
yeah.
You know, the problem was you didn't onboard her properly and set her
It is.
expectations, and so now you have a
Yes.
problem.
Well, I thought we had like this week because it was a weird week. It's a short week. You know, I thought we'd have this week of being whatever. Before I laid down the summer law, but I did not. I underestimated her.
I love it. All right, guys, let's take a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we'll continue with Megan.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos-Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation live podcast. We are talking to Megan. We were talking to John, but he's just disappeared. You know what? I need a picture really quick of the empty seat before he sits down. Boop. There we go. I got it.
I already put it on
You
live.
You already put it on live?
We haven't
I appreciate
started yet.
that, Spider.
Have we started?
Yeah, we're live, baby. Look at the light on your camera. Look at your camera. Look straight at your camera. Right there,
looking.
that little red light on top of it. You're live, baby. Your camera's on you.
Wave.
Let's go.
Wave. Say, hey, everybody. Anyways, we are talking to Megan. We continue our conversation with Megan. Mr. John, you want to take it away? Or do you want me to take it away?
I don't know. I'm thrown off now.
Figure it'd throw you a little bit off.
So, no, I have a question. Can you share some of the milestones? We talked about some of the challenges that you've been through throughout your career and through Pool Pro magazine, but can you talk about some of the few milestones or achievements that you're proud of?
So I'm really proud of 30 Under 40. We launched that, man, in 2019. So this will be our 6th year. I'm really proud of how that's grown. And it's one of my favorite things that we do. We launched it in Spa Retailer this year. So for people who don't know, we have 2 magazines, Pool Pro for pool service professionals, and then Spa Retailer for hot tub retailers. So 2 separate brands. So we launched that for Spa Retailer this year, and I'm really excited about it. When I bought the company or the magazines, we were only doing 5 issues a year, and now we do 6 of Pool Pro. So that was a big leap. I'm really proud of that. We'll probably stay with 6.
I can imagine.
We do Pool Pro 1 month and Spa Retailer the next month. I can't imagine doubling up every month. That would be a lot. Honestly, like recently, I have a business coach and I met with him and I was like, look at our accounts receivable. I've got the almost all current.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you what, like that was a huge milestone because normally it's like we're pushing that like 60 to 90 side of things. And it's like I got it almost all in the current to 30 days. I was very proud of that.
That right there is gold.
That's, you know
Just
what?
people don't understand how difficult that is.
Dude, sometimes we go through these like periods where I'm like, why is nobody sending us money? like they owe us money. Why is nobody sending us money? Man, that was during the pandemic. We had those couple weeks or months when we thought that we were all going to go out of business. And we had a couple people cancel, but really the worst thing is that like literally no one paid us for a month and a half. Absolutely no cash came in. And like, it was so brutal. Honestly, I was drinking a lot.
I tell you, that cash flow is king, right?
Oh, man.
When that faucet starts to shut the nerves.
What's funny is that we all go through it, right?
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah, we all go through it.
Yeah.
We talk about it too, and about understanding your numbers and staying
Yeah.
on top of that and to struggle. And you don't think about that. But yes, even for you, I mean,
Well, you got payroll, you got, you know.
It's not cheap to print a magazine and mail it. So yeah, we we got some pretty heavy expenses. We are lean and mean. Our expenses are low compared to a lot of businesses. But yeah, we still got them. And I'd say that's the bad thing about me traveling so much in the first quarter. Like, we kept having a great quarter, but I'm not sitting at my desk counting people to pay us. And so it's like, we're having a great year. Like, why aren't we having any money? And it's like, because no one's paid us. I got to sit down and bug them.
Which is ridiculous if you think about it. Some of these companies that are multi-million or billion-dollar companies, you know what I mean, that you think, but we all go through that struggle, whether you're a one-poler, whether you're a magazine, and even a corporate, you know, you're talking about a billion-dollar company. it's the same story for everybody.
And that was something that was really hard for me when I was a new business owner. Like, that feels really uncomfortable to ask people to give you money, even though they owe you money. Like, it's
to pay you.
I am a very non-confrontational person. I do not want there to be any tension.
For sure.
I will avoid it at all costs. I'm getting better at it. But yeah, for a while, that just felt so uncomfortable.
Very awkward.
Yeah, it can be so awkward.
And a lot of times, it's not like they're going, oh, we don't want to pay. You know what I mean? It's just that, hey, look, they got 1,000 things on their plate as well. You have 1,000 things on your plate, and everybody's they're putting out fires and doing what they need to do and prioritizing.
Exactly.
And you have to be like, excuse me.
Oh, I forgot, right? Okay, we got you taken care of. And we'll get you taken care of.
No,
right?
exactly. That's the thing. And that's the thing that I've learned as I've gone on. It's not like people don't want to pay you or are not going to pay you. Like, you just have to remind them. And for some of the big companies too, they have very specific processes you have to go through.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know that. And sometimes it takes a month or two for you and them to figure out that we've skipped a step and they're not going to pay you until you do that step.
Correct. And you've come to realize, if I would have just said something earlier and not let it go for 2 months, right? Then this would have already been taken care of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you're waiting. No, obviously something happened, right? Or some miscommunication. You just need to send that little reminder out there and they get it. Oh, okay. And then you're back into the process, back into the assembly line or whatever, you know, and then you'll get your check. But again, for sure.
And that was one of the reasons why I was so proud and talking to my business coach about it, was because it was partly just me getting over it. And that is why we've got it in the nice 2 columns that you wanted in. It's because I don't feel bad about asking people to pay me anymore.
Beautiful when you run the report and everything's to the left.
Oh, it's so, yes. So,
the right,
good.
that good.
So good. Yes, it was. So that's exciting.
Checks in the mail, right?
Checks in the mail.
So I think that's perfect lead into my next question. And we're very passionate about the business side of things, right? And I want to ask, what advice would you give new business owners in the pool industry based on the things that you've experienced, your insight, what you've seen?
So at the magazine, our goal has always been to help people run a better business. But now that I am also a business owner, I just have a completely different perspective on that than I did. And I just have a lot more compassion for other business owners out there and what you're going through, like we just talked about. Advice that I would give new business owners is, first of all, get help. And I don't necessarily mean you need to hire someone. I don't necessarily mean, I think a business coach is great if you can afford one. Like, that's fantastic. But I think when you're a new business owner, you feel like you can't afford those things. And a lot of times you can't. I couldn't. But you've got to find some people you can talk to. Absolutely.
I think you bring up a great point there, Megan, and it's true. And it's something that's really tough because mostly in the pool industry especially, but I see it across all industries, business owners, entrepreneurs are very proud, right? And they try to keep to themselves. But once you break that resistance and you do reach out to a fellow brother or sister, you find out that, hey, those problems you're going through are not so uncommon, right?
Yes.
And it's really the common thing. And if anything, it helps ease your mind, not necessarily to say it's okay to go through a problem like that, but to understand that, hey, look, this is part of the process of growing and you're not the only one that's gone through it. And a lot of times you'll find out when you do network and reach out with people, since they've experienced it before, that they can help guide you, so to help keep you from falling on your face more than you have to, because sometimes we all need to fall on our face and get our butts kicked before we learn. But I think that's a great point and great suggestion, and something that what we strive to do here is unity, right? We're all in this together. It's not me against you and them against her or whatever. Once we get to that point and we work with each other, that's when we start to grow. And then we avoid these unnecessary problems and pitfalls that a lot of us go through unnecessarily because we're too proud to ask or embarrassed because we think we're the only ones that are having these issues. When the reality is no.
I think that translates just in life in general,
100%.
right? whether you're working out and you find someone that's better than you, that pushes you, and like you let that pride go, or parenting and you're talking to someone that's maybe an excellent example of a parent, or relationships or whatever. I think that is huge.
Amen. Exactly. And everything falls into life. And like with me, it happens all the time. People ask me, oh, John, ask me about a pool or a repair, an install, or chemistry or something like that. And I go, yeah, I've had pools with algae. What? I'm like, what do you think? You know what I mean? Of course I have. I can't tell you how many times. Do I have them as often now? No. Have I learned? But I've been through it all. And I'm not telling you because I read it in a textbook and I've done that, but no, I've experienced it. And sometimes people, they're afraid to ask or they're embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed, man. I go, I've been there. The problem is when you learn how to do it correctly and you choose not to do it, you know what I mean? And then now, but we all fall victim to these things as business owners because there isn't a book that'll tell you and give you the exact formula, right?
And if there is, we wouldn't read it anyways.
It's true, right? Exactly. What do they know? Because God forbid we read a manual.
God forbid.
Because half the questions I get are, dude, have you read the manual, bro? You know what I mean? Because it's all in there. It's not hard. And I try to give hints sometimes when people do that. And I snap a picture and I go, here's the answer, but let me put it in writing for you. You know where I got this from? The manual you threw away, brother. It's right there.
I got one of those hints from you last weekend.
Oh, yeah. I did do it to you.
Hints received.
Yes.
That's
That's a guy thing, by the way.
Oh, no, it's a total guy thing.
That's funny. You caught that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I can use it on that. And I go, yes, you can, Zach.
Oh, that's funny. I think, too, being a business owner can be a really isolating experience, too. I think especially once you have employees also, because I think the weight of caring for these people and understanding like their families and livelihoods are your responsibility in some way. If you have not felt that before, you don't get it. And so I did not really expect that, but it's like, if you've not been a small business owner, I just don't think you understand what that really feels like. And so your friends don't get it. Your spouse doesn't get it. I went from being a fellow employee with these people to now being their boss. And like, I couldn't go to them to whine about my problems anymore. That relationship changes. You can't talk to your employees about your accounts receivable and your cash flow. You know what I mean? And so I just think it's so important to find other business owners, other people you can talk to who understand what that feels like and understand the responsibility of that, because it's just a completely different experience. And people think they understand what that's like. You do not understand it until you're sitting in that chair and you're like, no, I got to pay these people. And like, they pay their bills because of what we're doing. And I was not prepared for that. And I was not prepared for the weight of that. And I think you've got to find those people that you can talk to about what that feels like, because otherwise you can so easily drown in it. So I'm pretty passionate about that. It was really hard.
Now, let me ask you, what have been some of the most memorable collaborations and partnerships you've had over the years?
Oh, man, there are so many. That's one thing I love about our industry is that I just meet so many great people. So I will say, like, working with the Pool Chasers guys way back in the day, we were both just getting started. Our businesses look completely different now than they did back then. I think I was maybe like within like their first 10 guests, right? So it was very early days. If you go back and listen to that podcast with me and them and hear my story then versus my story now, I guarantee it looks very different from what I'm talking about. Working with Greg and Tyler was really fun. It's still fun. We don't get to talk as much now as we did back in the day, unfortunately, but I still text Tyler occasionally. He's with NPP now and check in and see how he's doing and stuff. So that was always really fun. Man, honestly, we have some really great advertisers too that are really fun to work with. I have to give a hats off to Fluidra, honestly. Like, they're usually like willing to throw down for whatever idea I give them. And they're willing to do some fun things. They have stuck with us no matter the highs and lows, which we really appreciate. They're one of the really early sponsors of 30 Under 40. So they've been really fun to work with, but I feel like I could pick up the magazine. I could go on and on because there have been a lot. And obviously working with you guys has been a great collaboration and so much fun. Being able to do the 30 Under 40 of the year at the Pool Nation Awards has been a really great thing. Although I did have this realization the other day where I was like, am I going to have to like buy a ball gown every year now? It's like, goodness gracious, what have I gotten myself into here?
Janie's in the room and she's saying, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to start shopping soon.
I've already started
What are you
looking.
talking about?
No, I've already, like, before it's over, I feel like those football coaches that like win the Super Bowl and are recruiting before the night is
Right.
over, or I guess that's college where they're recruiting before the night's over. But it's like, I got a list of options already. I have a running list of things.
We never get in arguments because she's such a sweetheart. She just lets me ramble.
But you argued about the dress.
That's what
No,
Aaron.
we didn't argue.
It
But
wasn't an argue.
we're going, right? And
She was telling you.
when we're at work, we're sitting there going to work, we're driving, and one of the trucks my truck was in the shop. So I was riding around with Janie and we were doing whatever we were doing. Anyways, we're taking care of pools and we're servicing pools and we're going, and I got my mind set. We got a lot of things happening, right? And I'm more of a today, this week, and then I'm looking at what my goal is at the end of the month and what needs to happen. And we're doing our thing. And when I'm in the zone, I'm thinking, and she can see, and she knows my wheels are turning. And the whole time we're going, and I'm talking about important things, or at least that I think that are important, right? Because I'm talking about work and stuff like that. And she's also, we're going to Texas. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm all right. I'm not even thinking about that right now. You know what I mean? She's like, where do you think we can go get a dress? I'm thinking about some places. And I'm like, you know what I mean?
Okay,
And
to be fair, we were talking about the awards. So it was in the subject.
okay, we were talking about the awards. It came up.
The true story comes out.
But
That's your version of the story.
I'm thinking of the classes, right? The deadline
Oh,
for the.
yeah.
I'm thinking,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
right
That's what
now.
we're talking
That's what I'm
about.
talking about.
Yeah.
The classes, the deadline that we have in order to come up with the classes for the international show, getting the people that are going to be the instructors, what we're going to do, who we're going to have, right? All those things that we're going through.
What
things
he
that
was
she's-
stressed about is Edgar going to call me again? Is Edgar going to call me again?
for real. So I'm thinking about all this, and then she just keeps bringing it up about this and that, and about going
They're
to the
like, who are
dress,
we
and I'm
bringing?
like.
Or which kids are coming?
And I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit. I told her, dude, I go, I'm not even. And I finally stopped,
He's
and
like,
I
that's
told.
November.
I go, babe, if you didn't get it, I'm not thinking about that right now. Think of whatever you do it, figure it out. And then finally I caught myself later on and I apologized to her and I go, I'm sorry. This is what I'm thinking. I'm not out that far yet. I can only, my little pea brain can only manage
on this.
so much right now. But funny that you bring that up because she's already thinking about it like 3 weeks ago. She's talking about it.
I'm like, do we have a free day while we're in Texas where we go shopping?
Yeah. it's-
John, we haven't told you, but we have it planned after
Yeah, I'm
lunch
sure.
today. We're going dress shopping.
I'm sure.
Well, me and Janie, maybe. I'm glad you mentioned goals, though, John. Like, you just said it in passing, but that would be my other bit of advice. I'm just going to completely pivot here.
Yeah.
That would be my other bit of advice for new business owners is to set achievable goals and not have 15 goals. Let's pick 2 or 3 for the year that you can actually achieve. Because that was another huge mistake I made in my first year, maybe year and a half of business ownership, is that I had 6 things, new things we were going to launch, new things we were going to do. Not achievable at all. Like with our team and being a new business owner and having no idea what I was doing. There was no way we could do that. And so we kind of even talked about in the magazine some of these new things we're going to roll out. And then it was like, we just never mentioned them again because that's not going to happen. So I think that would be the other thing is that you need to set some goals, but let's pick 2 or 3 achievable, meaningful goals. And then you can start knocking those off.
What do you see as the biggest challenges currently facing the pool industry right now?
Oh man, the economy a little bit for sure. I think pricing is a challenge, both pricing for the trade as far as our costs, but then also pricing to the consumers. Everything got so inflated during the pandemic and nothing's coming back down. Really. Have you seen stuff come back down?
No. There's been some drawback, but we talked about this before, and this happens in any industry. You'll
Yeah.
see this huge uptick because of this or that or whatever, and there'll be a little bit, but it'll never even
No.
remotely get close to
Yeah.
where it was before because why would they?
Yeah.
It's the new norm now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping that doesn't come back to bite us. And to be perfectly honest, I see that a lot more on the hot tub side, even than I do on the pool side of the industry, because hot tubs have gotten very expensive. And I'm a little worried we've priced ourselves out of most homes at this point. But I would say those are a couple big challenges facing our industry from where I sit. I think Edgar and I talk about this a lot, but during the pandemic, we saw a lot of companies go public. And I think we're still, as an industry, adjusting to what that means for the rest of us. And I think they're still adjusting to what that means for them. And it'll be a few more years before we really see how that shakes out too.
Yeah,
So,
I agree 1,000,000% on that. And I think the disconnect is, and it's life in business in general, and just look at how expensive life is. But
mhm.
the problem isn't necessarily, I think, in my opinion, the price increases, though they suck. I think the problem is, unfortunately, there's still a lot of business owners out there that think that the buck stops at them, right? We need to understand how those price increases, how do we convey that, or how do we effectively inform our end user, our client, that those price increases just roll right through and they are the ones that suffer. It shouldn't be us as business owners.
Yeah.
And when we're not all on one page, I think that's where the heartache really happens, because as they don't see, as a company, you don't pass on those increases. Yeah, there might be your so-called competitor or other companies out there that aren't doing those increases or still rolling with the old prices. But you talk to me a year later or 2 years down the road, those companies either are increasing their prices or they're out of business, right?
Yeah.
And that's just the way it works. So I think it's bridging that gap, or them understanding that price increases went up another 2, 4, 5, 6, 8%. In turn, we got to do the same thing too. We were just talking about it. Just going eating, fast food, rent. I mean, everything is just unbelievable. The COVID just created this huge, I don't even know. Our cost of living is just
especially where you guys are at. It's just absolutely,
it's just ridiculous.
It's crazy for us here. It really has.
But it's the new norm, right?
Yeah.
But then why are we suffering as business owners? Why have we passed on those?
I think it goes back to what Megan said earlier about fear of confrontation, right? I think a lot of business owners may have started in the pandemic and they didn't get pushback. They didn't learn how to sell and things. And we've talked about it several times, like pre-pandemic, we were of this mindset of selling features, benefits, things like that, how it's going to benefit the end user. And I think, like John says, you can only take so much of that, and then you're faced with a point. And we talked about overcoming challenges and chaos and things like that. You're faced with a point of, I've either got to do this or I've got to find something else to do. So I think people are still figuring out how to find that confidence and communicating and selling and things like that.
I'm really fascinated by that because I feel like I've come on your podcast before and talked about people raising their prices. This has been a discussion for a while. I spoke at the PHTA San Diego chapter, had a service symposium that I spoke at, and I talked about that Skimmer State of the Service Industry report. And they have this great chart where you can click and sort by pricing model, whether you're like per stop or per month or whatever, and then whether you're getting paid monthly or whether you're looking at the different models. It was plus chems or no chems. And it was amazing because in California, when I looked at it, the guys who were charging separate for the chemicals and the guys who wrapped it into their price were charging the same amount a month. It was the same amount. And I was like, that is insane. Like, someone's losing money in that situation. Like, how are you guys surviving? But it was interesting when I talked to people individually about it. Like, everyone kind of agrees we need to raise prices, but it's like, yeah, we did a price increase last year. We're talking about doing one this year. And to me, it's every service professional that comes to my home, they raise their prices every year. And it's not a discussion. Like, they just do it. We get a thing at the beginning of the year from our lawn guy, and he's like, this is what I'm charging this year. This is your price. And it always goes up. I don't bat an eye. I don't understand why we're not doing that in the industry where you've got to evaluate that like every year, every quarter. Are we making money on what we're doing? And if you're not, you have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. And I think as small business owners, the answer is always just to like work harder. And that's not always the answer. Like, sometimes you can't work yourself out of these problems. Like, you've got to actually raise your prices. Sometimes adding pools doesn't mean you're going to add a whole lot of profit if you're still not making money on them.
And then you burn out.
For sure.
Yeah.
Or we figure we have to cut expenses, right? Or we
Yes.
have to sacrifice because of that. Because the prices went up 10%, or my cost or my chemicals or labor or whatever it may be is up 10% year over year. Now I have to lose 10% of my take-home income in order to compensate for that. That's not it. And that's the wrong mentality, because that snowballs into that grumpy, crabby, miserable business owner or person that just doesn't, what's the point of doing it, right? And then it all
you don't
just,
make money, you're not happy.
Exactly. It's not a charity, right?
Yeah.
We're not here to rip people off. We're here to make a living and provide a service and to do it well. And that deserves a certain amount of money. And based on the economy and other factors that are out of our control, it's not, these increases aren't not simply because I just want to make more money. And you have to figure out a way to convey that and explain it. And you'll find out more than not that people are understanding. Everything else has gone up. God damn, it's so expensive.
But the challenge is you got to know your numbers, right? As a business owner, and I say it all the time, and people now make fun of me all the time, but it's if you don't know your numbers and you don't know what your profit is, and you just can't.
Yeah.
So
that's the whole deal. Absolutely.
I want to ask, Megan, what do you enjoy most about your work with Pool Pro Magazine, and what kind of keeps you motivated?
I loved getting to know people in the industry. That's always been the fun part for me before I bought the magazines. Yeah, I love talking to business owners. I love talking to people in the industry. I love hearing their stories. I love telling their stories. The fun thing I've also realized about myself that I really value learning new things. I'm a nerd at heart, absolutely. And that's one of the good things about this industry is you could always learn something new. I learn things that I had no idea about all the time. And it's sometimes embarrassing, the things that I don't know. And then you're like, oh, wow, I had no idea this is how this worked or why we did it like this. But I like that. Like learning new things is something I really value. And that's something that this industry will always provide. So that's it. It's meeting the people, getting to hear their stories and learning new things. Those are the things I love.
I want to start going and start talking about the 30 under 40. And question is, we should probably take our next word from our sponsors and then go do a deep dive in the 30
We're doing
under
a
40.
double word for our sponsors. Let's get it.
It's because
Let's
I
get
talk
it
so
right.
much.
Yeah.
So
No, this is going great.
No,
this is like the best part.
I was looking at this and I'm looking at the time trying to figure out where we're at. And I'm like, man, we could do another hour just very easily. Like it would be no sweat here. But it's all great stuff, by the way.
Yeah,
so
we'll take another word and then we'll
jump into the
Yeah.
30 under 40. So let's take a word
I'll
from
be
our
on time
sponsors.
this time.
Will you?
Yeah. My internal clock is off in Texas. I guess
Is
that's
that what you're
it is.
blaming it on?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
So we'll be right back.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with reoccurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double-locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We're sitting here.
Spider's giving us the. He's doing it, and I'm still talking.
I was throwing hands.
Yeah, he was. He's
Hot mic, hot mic.
He's like, dude.
And he's just like, I saw the light that came on, the red light on the camera, and it's like, you're live, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, John was just correcting me because I totally screwed up. Because normally we do our final word before our final thoughts, but I wanted to make sure that we spent some time talking about the 30 under 40. That was our last.
I'm a creature of habit here, dude. And
I know, and I'm throwing you off, right? Anyway, so Megan, we're back. Wanted to talk about the 30 or to 40. Wanted to get the inception of it. Where did you come up with the concept? And I agree that it's something that's been very needed in the industry and the recognition, and it's been fun to watch it grow and blossom. So can you tell us a little bit about a 30 under 40? Where did it come from? And
Sure. So I'd owned the magazine for hadn't been a full year, and we kind of needed something, right? Like magazines, it's really helpful when you have a magazine. If you have cornerstone pieces that you do every year, it makes sense why you need that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we kind of needed something, and I looked around at what our competitors were doing for kind of their awards and programs and things like that. And it was really like 30 under 40, like something for young professionals was clearly the thing that was missing. And also at the time, I've aged out of my own program at this point, but at the time, like our entire team was under 42. So it just felt like a really good, we were like the fresh new kids on the block. And so it just made sense for us to recognize the other fresh new kids on the block. Yeah. So that was where it came from. I think I said earlier, this will be our 6th year doing it. And every year it grows. It's so exciting. I brought all of them with me, and I was reading through them this morning when Aaron and I were having breakfast, and it was just so cool to see all the like past people in there and like what some of them have done since then and where they've gone on. I mean, some people have left the industry. A lot of people are at new jobs. Some people have sold their companies. It just ran the gamut, some good and some bad, of like where people are at and what they've done. And it was just so fun to look back and remember all of those.
So I have an idea. It would be cool is reaching out to some of the ones that have left the industry and then getting their take, because they were obviously doing well at some point, and what changed in their life that got them. Was it an opportunity? Was it a struggle? Was it something? And I think that's some really valuable information, maybe to be able to find a way to reach out to those people and get that information.
I mean, I love that idea. That's a great idea. No, it is a great idea. But also, sometimes people don't like to talk about failures or things that are painful. So it might be hard to execute, but I do like that idea. Sometimes it's hard to track people down once they're gone. But that would be interesting to go back and see.
Just be anonymous, not necessarily say, hey, these are from past stories or whatever. But I don't know, just a thought.
No, I do like that. Because I am curious too. There's some of them that I look at and it's, man, I wonder what happened there.
Yeah.
I wonder what's the story about with that. I know some of them.
Can you tell us some of the past 30 under 40s from the last couple of years?
Yeah. So our very first year, we had the guys from Manning Pool Service down in Houston, and they're just awesome. I love them. And so it's been fun to see how they've grown even since then. And I think at the time when we featured them, they hadn't fully bought out their parents, and they now have. I could be wrong on the details, but that was really great. Also, like Hal Denbar from Patriot, he was there too. And so, now he sold to NPP. They've built this giant thing, and now he's the CEO. And that was a really cool one. I'm going to have to grab him. There are so many people. So that was like the first year. And the second year, we had Mark Jones from out in New Orleans.
Oh, yes.
Who, man,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
blew up on TikTok after he was in 30 and 40,
And
which
Instagram.
we had nothing to do with that, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, it's just really fun to look back, like that he was in 30 under 40, and now he's just kind of become this like internet sensation from the pool industry. It's just so fun and innovative, and just hats off to him for everything that he accomplished. That was a really fun one for
Forgot
me.
about that one.
And
Yeah.
he's a great
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
He comes over to our boot camps.
Yeah, he
and does
takes
that in
classes,
classes.
yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, for
Love
sure.
him.
So when you're talking about partnerships, I should have given a shout out to Michael from First Response Pools. So he was one of our 30 under 40, obviously like a great guy. I think he was on earlier too, but we've hired him to do some video for us because I was at your boot camp and he was there shooting video, and like he came with all of these ideas and things. And I was like, this is the stuff that I should be doing for our brands. And I just don't think like that. So finally, after kind of like trying to figure out how we could do it, I was like, this is stupid. And I was like, hey, do you want to make some videos for us? And he was like, yeah. So talk about like great partnerships. Super excited to see how that goes. We've only done it for a couple of months now, but very excited about that partnership and seeing where that goes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He said, I'm going to look back and read my 30 under 40 again to see the change. That's Michael on
Yeah,
here.
yeah, absolutely. You know, something that's fun in 30 under 40, one of the questions that we ask people is if you've had a mentor or, you know, someone who's helped you out along the way. And then throughout the year in the back of the magazine, we print the little stories that they have given us about their mentors. And I think it's happened twice now, where one of our old 30 under 40s was the mentor for one of our new 30 under 40s.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Vic Garcia out of the Pool Builder out of California.
G6.
Yeah, G6.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. And I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, Vic was the mentor for one of our guys from this last year in 2023. So that stuff is just cool and so exciting. Just seeing all of the stories that come in and all the challenges people have like gone through and overcome, and even just like the backgrounds of where people have come from to get into this industry, whether you're like third generation or just fell into it. I love the stories of people who started at the bottom with this company and have now worked their way up to, like Omar who's with Aquastar now, is a great example of that. I love his story. He started as a delivery driver for Pool Corp and then worked his way up through their MIT program and is now with Aquastar and killing it. Like, it's just so fun to see people succeed. It's awesome.
That's really cool to see the old 30 under 40s mentoring the newer ones.
Well, I mean, it validates them being on the 30 under 40, right?
Yeah.
Because picking the right ones and the people nominating the correct ones and realizing, hey, look, these are the future leaders of our industry. And it shows because they're doing that. It just validates the whole program.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's kind of cool for sure.
Yeah.
You could do an update, 30 in their 40s.
Yeah, we do. I know every
30
year.
in their 40.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't even qualify for that one. Jeez.
I mean, every year we do get one or two people who are a little hurt that they're not able to apply because they're new to the industry, but over 40. And we can't have a program for everybody.
gotta stick to it.
Maybe one day we'll come up with something for over 40s who've been in the industry for 17, 16 years, however many at this point. It's been a lot. So Colin Parrish, he was the very first 30 under 40 of the year. They were rookies of the year back then. 30 under 40 Pool Nation Rookie of the Year. Whatever phrasing we use for that, I get confused sometimes with how we say that. But yeah, that was like one of he had only been in business for a couple of years when he was in there, and what he's done with his company and the way he runs that company, he does everything by the book, pays his guys right, does all of the stuff. Just really proud that he was in our magazine.
So I want to ask, if someone wants to nominate someone, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, so it's on our website. So we have nominations are open May 1st through the end of June, and then we stop nominations. It's all on our website, social media, everywhere. Anywhere you see Pool Pro, you will very quickly find a link for nominating someone for 30 under 40. If you have been in 30 under 40 in the past, you cannot be in 30 under 40 again. It should be set up that if you try to nominate someone who has already been in there, that you will get a message that says they've already been nominated. yeah, you don't get like props if you're nominated more than once. If someone has already been nominated and someone tries to nominate you again, they will get a thing that says, sorry, they've been nominated. But here's an email address and you can email us all the good things you want to say about them. So we've got that set up this year. That's new because I got tired of people getting nominated 30 times. And you can nominate yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't get knocked for nominating yourself. Like, by all means, if you think you're deserving for 30 under 40, you absolutely should nominate yourself. I have no problem with that.
I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
Do you accept fake IDs?
Right.
We don't do background checks.
Yeah.
If I color my hair all black, will it,
Yeah, we do ask for your birth year. So we have had
Sorry,
a couple where my people in the office were like, they're under 40? And it's like, yes. They're like, okay.
Let's request some proof. Can you scan your ID and send it over, please?
I know. I mean, I hope we never get to the point where we have to do that. But
So I do have 2 questions.
Okay.
One is you have the 30 under 40, and then we started back then, which I was even trying to remember how that conversation went at the beginning, and I don't remember. Do you?
I have an idea.
I don't either.
Perfect.
It probably did start with that.
Yeah, probably.
But I'm trying to remember the conversation. We're just like, hey, here's this idea. We have the Pool Nation Awards, and it was from the very first year. Like you were on board from day one.
I think you were looking for what categories do we even have at the awards, and it was like, but 30 under 40. Could we do something with that? And I was like, well, yeah, maybe. Let's think about it.
Yeah. So you have the 30 under 40, and then
Yes.
there is the Pool Nation Awards 30 under 40 for male, female. So can you explain that a little bit?
Yes.
Because I think sometimes people are
It does get confused. Yeah, I think people definitely think like we're one thing, which is not true. I love you guys. We are not the same thing. We are not, no money is changing hands here. But yeah, so we have the 30 under 40 program. People get nominated, they enter, our team chooses the winners, and they are 30 under 40. What we do with you guys is we take 5 or 6 men and 5 or 6 women who are in that year 30 under 40, and we let them be voted on in the Pool Nation Awards to be 30 under 40 of the year. So that's how that goes. At the start, we were doing 30 under 40 rookies of the year, where they had to have been in the industry for 5 years or less. That was too hard because we never knew if we were going to have enough people who fit that category. And sometimes we didn't. And so we decided to go for just being 30 under 40 of the year. Pool Pro 30 under the 40 Pool Nation year. I don't know. We really got to work on the wording so I know how to say it.
30 under 40 male, right?
Yeah.
It is tricky. So winner at the Pool Nation Awards.
There you go.
A category 30 under 40. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
But it's fun to see it evolve. It was fun to have the conversation going, oh, this is tricky. Like the rookie of the year, let's change it.
Yeah.
So it's fun to see that evolve. My second question for you is, because there's a process to what you do, right?
Yeah.
So you get nominated, but then the people that get nominated have to do some work. So could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes people nominate someone and I think they want it to be like a surprise. Hey, they're 30 under 40 and like the person didn't know. But we really need buy-in from the people who are 30 under 40 for it to work. And yes, if you get nominated, you will get a million emails from us saying, please fill out this official entry form. So if you are nominated, if you do not fill out that form, you are not in the 30 under 40 contest. That is an essential part of this because we use that information to choose who it's going to be. What the people say when you get nominated is great, but it's not enough for us to write an entire profile on someone. We need way more information and details than those people can provide. And we need photos, like we need stuff. And you're going to have to give it to us. The other question I get from people is they're like, hey, I got this thing in my email. Is this real? And it's like, yes, it's real. Yes, it's real. We're not going to take your money. We're not selling your information on the black web. Fill out the information. And it's definitely time consuming. We need you to sit down and spend some time to tell us your story. I think most people, they probably open up the form with all intentions to finish it. And then they're like, oh boy, this is
guilty.
This is a lot. And then they move on.
It's
Years ago, I was like,
difficult to talk about yourself.
It is. It's hard. I get it. I hate it too. But yeah, we need you to sit down and really think about those answers and give us more than a sentence. Like, we need to know who you are from this.
And I feel like if someone went out there and recognized you and went through the effort to nominate you, we definitely take that time. And I think what a lot of people need to consider is this is an accolade. This is something that whether you're a business owner, whether you're working for someone, this is something that goes on your resume. This is something it's a benefit to you.
The really smart people that I have seen in 30 under 40 have really used it to leverage the next things for their business or for their careers. People have used this not as the only thing, obviously, but as part of the package of why they should move on or move up. Or the really smart business owners, they put that on their website and they let people know our business owner was 30 under 40. Like our industry recognizes this person. The savvy people, they do that, man. And I think it works for them.
Now you made me feel guilty.
And now you've missed the cutoff.
Oh, dude,
Who nominated you?
I can't remember. Was it you that did?
No.
Who did? I have no idea.
It was Zach.
It was Zach? Oh, no. That's
And-
why you do it. Now I feel, dude. Now I feel
Oh.
terrible. See, now you make me feel bad. I looked at it, I was like, I can't talk about myself. I
That's-
suck.
It's hard. Yeah.
I
It's
suck at
hard
doing
to
that.
write, but people need to understand that it can't be a one sentence, right? Because
Yes.
you're getting a couple hundred different people, right?
Yeah.
You guys have to sit and go through 200 people, which is not easy.
It's a lot.
It's very time consuming.
It's a lot.
And if you have somebody that's just putting a one sentence in, it's just not going to work. So,
No.
I'm sorry, Zach.
So I will say-
truly
I
feel
forgave
bad
you
about
like,
that.
what was it, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
I feel bad now. I feel very bad.
And I will say,
Shit.
we need more than one sentence, but also, it also doesn't need to be perfect. We're not
Yeah.
going to print it the way you sent it in. So I think that's the other thing, too. People get nervous when it's a magazine, like they're going to judge me for my grammar. No, absolutely not. Like, you write it. I don't care if it's misspelled. I don't care if you got correct punctuation. We do not care. We
you're
do
like,
not
that's
care.
what we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell your story, put it out there. Do not worry about that. Like, we will make you sound great. We got you on that part. You just be you. That's what we want.
So, one last question. We got 2 minutes, I think. When will the winners be announced?
Yeah, winners are announced in our November issue. And then the 30 under 40s of the year are obviously announced at the Pool Nation Awards.
What are those?
What are those?
What are
Again, we're doing it again. What are those?
Since I'm on, I want to take full credit for the Pool Nation Awards being fancy because I feel like I was the first one who floated that idea on the podcast and said that.
And we will give that to you.
Yeah,
for
I want
sure.
Oh,
credit.
it wasn't me
We're
or
on
Josh.
4th annual now, right?
We're going
Yeah.
to our
Fourth.
4th annual Pool Nation
Yeah.
Awards.
Honest, did you think we would make it 4 years? Be honest.
Like brutally honest. You have permission to.
Like when you first saw it and you heard about it, we did it, and then did you think 4 years later we'd still be doing it?
I don't know. I'm sure I had my doubts, but I don't know. Like that first year, it went well. Like
Yeah.
for a first,
Oh,
like,
we didn't know what the hell we were doing.
Yeah,
We made it happen, though.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
We knew what we were doing. What are you talking about? Give me that. We didn't
Yeah,
know
we
what we were
orchestrate
doing.
awards all the time. I used to work in the film industry. We did the
That's
Academy
what we
Awards.
did for a
and-
living.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we did so well, I had to block the door.
Yeah.
Yes.
we did.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yes. So we thought we were going to have 70,
Yeah, I remember it was way more people.
but here's the props that we have to give you. Like it was our first year, and a lot of people came to me afterwards and were like, "Oh, we thought that you patted me on the
Yeah.
head. We thought we were going to. This was going to be in your booth, and as we walked by your booth,
Yes.
we were going to get an award.
Yes.
That's how bad it was.
Yes.
And just for you to have the foresight to put your brand with us, which we were just up and coming.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about how we were up and coming and nobody wanted to talk to us, but you took the opportunity to be like, yes, let's do this. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. I think I was pretty nervous that first year
I-
for all the things along with that.
Oh, for sure.
But what about now?
Oh, now I'm not nervous. Now I'm just worried every year about what am I going to wear.
Yeah.
Right.
Which a problem of my own creation, apparently.
And listen, this year we're expected to have probably about 400 if we don't hit 450 people at the awards. So,
This year I'm hiring someone to do my hair and makeup.
So,
Oh,
so
that's
we're
a
there.
must.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
That's a must.
anyways, guys, we normally do final thoughts, but look at this. We literally went with Megan to the last minute. We're
I talk a
actually
lot,
just
sorry.
a little bit over, but it's been a lot of great
it's awesome.
information. So my final thoughts is going to be thank you so much for your partnership, for your friendship, for putting your trust with your brand with ours. That's scary, right? It's our babies, and we don't do that a lot often anymore.
I don't know what you were thinking.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
So thank
Either
you so
really,
much.
really smart or really, really stupid.
So thank you so
No.
much. Like, we really love you.
Yeah,
We
well,
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on. This was fun.
Awesome.
Well, good. Thank you.
And go nominate someone.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fill out that form.
And fill out that form.
And not one sentence, please. So, Megan, thank you so much. Everybody listening, thank you so much. I hope all of you guys have, wait, backstory. The stories are also great for the new pool pros to see the growth that can be accomplished in our industry right there. Glenn, good morning. Turning you guys on right now on my road trip. And then, do I wear a tux or 80s Texas ballroom style?
80s Texas ballroom, 100%.
There you go. There you go. Answer to that. So, everybody out there, hope you guys have a great weekend. Catch me and John next Wednesday.
Just don't wear Dumb and Dumber suits.
Those will not be allowed this year. Yes, there is a dress etiquette, right? So anyways.
No comment.
No comment. So we will catch everybody next Wednesday on the Instagram Live. Have a great weekend, everybody.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or poolnationpodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at pool.nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to poolinvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolmanUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolmanUniversity.com.